All right then, if you're going to belittle me like that, you can forget about seeing your grandchild, sneered the son who had been incessantly asking his parents for financial support, a smirk suggesting victory on his face. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm a cut above my sister here. I have a steady income and I don't need mom to bail me out anymore. If you want to cut ties, feel free. We won't be showing you our Katie even when we have one. Please keep your distance from our lives. And don't think about crying to us about your retirement expenses because we won't pay a dime. Having had their say, the two left. In the end, just as my daughter predicted, all they wanted was to leech off of me and live a luxurious life. They even stooped so low as to exploit a parent's longing to see their grandchild. I won't let them manipulate me anymore. My name is Mary. I'm turning 54 this year. After having 2 kids, I divorced their father and managed to scrape by on the child support payments he provided. Thankfully, I was able to return to my previous job, which allowed me to make ends meet while putting a bit aside. I've tried to compensate for the absence of their father, but perhaps I was a bit naive in my approach. The wake-up call came when my son got married. Mom, could you help out again this month? Well, I guess I don't have much choice. My oldest son, David, got married to his high school sweetheart, Linda, about 6 months ago. They rented an apartment near my house, saying they were saving up to buy their own place. I even contributed significantly to their wedding expenses, all in support of their goals. Still, David would make requests for money with a humble gesture, a plea to me, his mother. He'd talk about how his company was struggling, how his salary and bonuses were stagnating. He'd explain how Linda's parents were unwell and he had to send them money. All kinds of hardships were shared with me. The more I listened, the more I felt he was being a bit naive about his role as the family breadwinner. Nevertheless, I continued to give him money for about 6 months after their marriage. Since we lived nearby, they would often come over. We frequently shared dinners, and I assumed David was bringing Linda over to my place. Despite being newlyweds, they seemed to prefer spending time with me rather than by themselves. I even hinted at this once, but Linda only responded with, "Your cooking is so good, Mary. I could eat it every day." Although I was flattered, Linda never showed any interest in learning my recipes or helping me cook. The years passed in this way until my daughter, Tricia, started applying to colleges. At that crucial time, I asked David and Linda to refrain from visiting so frequently. Yet they continued to ask for financial support, and once the college applications were over, they were back to their usual frequent visits. Around that time, Tricia and Linda started having disagreements. "Mary, your financial help has really saved us. The economy is so tough, and David's company isn't doing well. But that bag you're carrying, Linda, it's designer, isn't it? You seem to be doing pretty well for yourself." "Come on, Tricia, this isn't that expensive. Besides, you always butter up mom for money. And Linda, don't you ever think of getting a part-time job or something?" "Tricia, that's rude." "Who's being rude here? Don't you feel ashamed relying on your parents for money?" "Well, I do feel sorry for Linda because I'm not earning enough." "No, not to Linda, to mom." "It's all right, Tricia, let's call it. We're all going through a tough time. Let's be understanding." It wasn't the first or second time I had to mediate between my children like this during meals. I understood Tricia's complaints, but I believed they just needed to endure a bit longer. I trusted they would soon say they could stand on their own feet and wouldn't need any more financial support. Above all, she didn't want to burden her children with money issues, especially without a father figure around. These were some of the thoughts running through Mary's head as she finished dinner and started cleaning up. She heard Linda from behind. Excuse me." Mary turned around with a smile, thinking that the moment she had anticipated had arrived. Linda's words froze her smile. "Thank you so much for your support, Mom. It's really a big help." "It's okay. I'm sorry Tricia can be a bit of a nag." "Don't worry about it. But I have a favor to ask." "What is it?" "Recently, I've been thinking about having a child, but I'm not confident about the finances." "What?" "Well, it's hard to have a baby when you're older, isn't it?" "Well, I guess it might be. So, I was wondering if you could increase the amount of support money a little more." Shockingly, David and Linda weren't discontent with walking on their own feet. They were actually planning on having a child in this situation. How can they consider having a child when their financial outlook is so unstable? Mary thought. She tried to hint that it was reckless, but Linda seemed irked and countered. "Don't you want to see your grandchild?" "I'm not saying I don't want to. Exactly. I'm an only child and I really want my parents to meet their grandchild as soon as possible. But you do realize that having a child will make things even more difficult. I'll start working too. Then we'll manage. David has also reassured me about this. Despite Mary's advice, Linda insisted that everything would be fine and there was nothing to worry about. As a result, Mary ended up increasing her monthly allowance to them from $1,000 to $1,200. When she told Trisha about this, she was indignant, insisting, "Mom, you're definitely being duped by them." But Mary still dreamed of the day when the two would become independent. A few years after she increased the allowance, David came to her house alone. Apparently, he knew she was off from work that day and seemed anxious to discuss something with her. "Is Trisha here?" "I think she's studying in her room." "Why, do you need something?" "No, it's okay. I just have something to ask of you, Mom. I hope it's not bad news." "Well, I was wondering if you could increase the allowance a little more." Mary had kind of expected it from David's demeanor, but she was utterly disappointed that both he and Linda just kept asking for money with no remorse. She let out a heavy sigh and finally, in a loud voice, reprimanded David. "Enough is enough. How long do you plan on relying on your parents?" No, you're misunderstanding. Linda has been getting tests done at the hospital." "Is Linda sick?" "No, not like that. She's been getting tests done for childbirth and it's turning out to be more expensive than we thought. We're short on cash. That's why I told you it's not a good idea to have a child without proper planning. What will you do if something unexpected happens? If the child gets injured or if one of you falls ill, you can't just say we don't have money. You don't think everything will be fine just by begging me, do you?" "Don't get too angry. I didn't know the tests were going to be so expensive." "Isn't that odd?" Mary turned around at the sound of the sudden interjection to find Trisha, who had seemingly been in the living room for a while. David made a sour face trying to shoo her away. But Trisha stopped him from saying anything and approached him. "What kind of tests are you talking about for childbirth? If she's pregnant, can't you check it with a pregnancy test?" "What test is it?" "I don't know. Linda went alone. I just heard we don't have enough money." "Why did you let Linda go to the hospital alone for such a serious matter as childbirth? Normally couples go together to listen to the doctor, don't they?" "David, you have the day off today, right? Don't butt in. You're just a kid who knows nothing about pregnancy." "The one who doesn't understand what even a kid does is you, David." There was some arguing, but David couldn't refuse Trisha's points and reluctantly left. Well, I thought Trisha had a point. I told her, isn't it okay to cut them some slack considering their situation? She sighed at me. "Mom, are you serious?" "What do you mean?" "They just want money. Their reasons are surely fabricated." "Why would you say that?" Unable to hold herself back, Trisha went back to her room and returned with her smartphone. She showed me several pictures. It was Linda's bag. Linda claimed it's a cheap one, but I think it's real. She made fun of my bag, saying it's pathetic, and laughed. "This bag costs $1,200. That's the same as the monthly allowance." "Yeah, and it's a high-end brand. And no matter how cheap it is, she had a different bag each time she came over. I think she's just spending the allowance on these kinds of things." "You might be right. Linda did have a lot of different bags." "She was laughing behind your back, calling you a fool for not noticing." "You wouldn't know." Then Trisha showed me a recording. It was a conversation between Linda and Trisha, recorded when I was at work and Linda had come over to the house. "Trisha, I know you don't carry anything but cheap bags and you're not interested in money, right? Could you ask your mom to increase the amount she's sending to me? Didn't you say something like this before and got some money from Mom? Just an additional $200 isn't enough. Is $1,200 okay? She thinks she's taking care of her son and his dreams for just $1,200. She could at least give us more so she might get to see her grandchild." How audacious. Don't you understand it's better for the world if young people spend the money instead of the old hoarding it? "Hey, Mom. Are you still going to keep sending them money after they said all this?" Her voice was unmistakably clear. Trisha had secretly recorded their conversation on her phone that was stashed in her pocket. Upon hearing it, I felt both disappointed and deeply sorry for Trisha. She had been exposed to her brother and his wife begging their own mother for money. It was a wake-up call. I need to talk with David and Linda. "I'm glad. If you're gonna do that, I'll help you however much I can." "Thank you." The next day, I invited the two of them to my house. Linda arrived with one of those $1,200 bags in her hand, her face beaming with delight. Trish and I sat down with them at the living room table. I'm going to stop sending you money. What? What are you talking about? We can't handle this kind of surprise. That's right, mother-in-law. My medical expenses are piling up and it's really causing me trouble. Why don't you just save your money instead of buying those expensive bags? Linda, who initially tried to be humble and gain my favor, sighed heavily as if she had been wronged when I mentioned the bag. Don't you want to see your grandchild? I would feel sorry for the child being born to such irresponsible parents. Are you saying that even though your son is in trouble, you're not going to help us? I've been helping you enough. I've been sending you money for 10 years now, David. You should stop this already. It was you? You must have said something to Mom. Trisha has nothing to do with this. It's my decision based on your behavior. As I firmly stated this, David and Linda fell silent. Seeing this, I felt relieved that we could end this after a decent conversation. But then David laughed in a mocking tone and started shouting at us. Well, fine. If you're gonna insult me like this, then give up on ever seeing your grandchild. What are you talking about? Weren't you the one who was disrespecting Mom? You kept sending me money because you thought I was useless, right? That's right. You kept paying us because you thought David was struggling, right? What are you trying to say? Sorry to break it to you, but unlike you, I'm actually competent. I've been earning my own money, so I don't need Mom's help. Feel free to stop giving us your petty cash. You're blaming us, but you're just saying you can't go on without the money, right? Yeah, that's right. But don't come crying to us for money for your old age expenses after showing us this attitude. And even if we do have a child, we won't be showing you the baby's face. Never interfere with us again. With these words, they left with a bang. As it turned out, Trisha was right. They were simply trying to bleed me dry and to squander the money. Worse, they exploited my desire to see my grandchild. Trisha was grinning with satisfaction as I sank into my thoughts. Don't worry, they'll be back begging in no time. But from now on, it's a new game, Mom, Trisha spoke with certainty. And she was right. Just half a year later, David, still in his work clothes, showed up at the house clutching his credit card statement. Listen to me, Mom. Linda's out there spending my money on bags and wallets like it's nothing. Oh, why are you surprised now? That's cold, Mom. Well, didn't she always behave like that, even when she was receiving $1,200 from me each month? $1,200. She said she was only getting $500. You didn't even know how much allowance I was giving to your wife, did you? That's disappointing. Indeed, I used to put the money in an envelope and give it to the two of them. I felt a headache coming on from my son's pathetic ignorance, not even checking the amount before using it. She's spending that $1,200 on all sorts of useless things, and our savings are depleting rapidly. That's how it's always been. I don't understand why you didn't realize it sooner. My words also served as a critique of my past self. Perhaps by being in the same position now, David might understand a bit of how I felt. But ultimately, David couldn't stop Linda, and he would only rely on me for money. There was nothing I could do for my son, who complained and lashed out without a hint of apology. Their quarrel seemed to continue, unable to stop Linda from spending more than her income. It was no surprise considering they were unable to save even though they were receiving $1,200 a month for free. As I observed their poor financial management, I couldn't help but wonder where I went wrong in raising them. I just kept going, doing as Trisha told me to. Mom, I don't know you moved, was the message I received about 10 days after the move. Trisha had anticipated that David and Linda would come asking for money again. And so, as a precaution, we sold our house and moved to an apartment with easy access to Trisha's workplace. Of course, we didn't tell the two of them our new address. Just as Trisha had predicted, they came to our old place and, finding us gone, sent a frantic email. I received a flurry of apologetic emails from David, mixed with preaching about how he wouldn't care about my old age or his children's future. If they are this desperate, I wonder if they have also been rude to Linda's parents. That's not likely. Linda's parents are just like her, always asking for handouts. Trisha told me, sharing some information she'd learned about Linda's family. From the $1,200 I used to give her, it seemed Linda had also been passing on some money to her parents. It finally made sense how they could spend so much each month. And now, with their disposable income finally gone, it seemed that David and Linda were being pressed for money by Linda's parents. I was speechless at how my son and daughter-in-law could still think of relying on others after all they had gone through. Seeing the emails I'd received, Trisha laughed and said, "I told you so," before promptly blocking them. I felt neither sympathy nor pity for David and Linda, even if they apologize. After all, they were so proud of their good and common qualifications. So they should work hard together. Of course, Trisha had enough trouble over David. I've been helping him out, even dipping into my savings while working, but I have done enough. From now on, until Trisha finds a good partner, we'll support each other as mother and daughter.